Hi there, my name's Keri and I am from Fit and Healthy Mums. I'm running a live relaxation and breath session at 8 o'clock. I've joined live a little bit early to remind some of the people that are in the event to see if they want to join us live. Obviously, you can rerun this video as many times as you wish. So I'm just going to let this run for a few minutes before we start. If you have any questions, please do comment and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. I can see the questions and things coming in on my left hand side, so I may keep flicking my eyes up in that direction. My name is Keri. I run a small company called Fit and Healthy Mums, and I specialise in pre and postnatal health and fitness and wellbeing. There's a team of us. We work around the Oxford Abingdon area. We also cover lots of the villages and do lots of home visits and things, and work with ladies from preconception. Really, I work with some ladies who are going through IVF and are trying to get pregnant, and also antenatal and postnatal ladies. So there's lots and lots of things going on. Lots of them are virtual at the moment, obviously. There's Pilates classes, antenatal classes, buggy fit, personal training, diastasis, recti recovery, back pain, hip pain, PGP, you name it, we can help you out. So there's lots of things going online, so please do have a little look at those. I know it can be quite isolating. My antenatal group are chomping at the bit for information. The fab videos that Wendy and her team are doing on here are brilliant and full of loads of information, and I know that they are getting a really good spread and share on those because they've got some brilliant information on them. What I'm going to do is just make a couple of recommendations to you before we start. I've got the fire on because it's a bit chilling and I've been really mean, I've turned the heating off. So I've got the fire on. You might find so nice and warm, and you might want to find somewhere that is a little bit cozy for you, a little bit of quiet space if you can. Okay, so you might decide to find a room that's got a door that you can close, or you might find a nice comfy chair or something to sit in. We're going to do a little bit of breath work to start with, and then we're also going to do a few stretches and some work just to help with that stress. So where you hold quite a lot of stress and tension through the shoulders and the neck, I am going to give you some exercises and some movements to help with that as well. And then we're going to move on to a relaxation technique called the body scan. I know the lovely girls at MVP said you only need to do 10-15 minutes. It's probably going to go on a bit longer than that because I want to make sure that I give you enough time in between each to be able to practice the techniques really, and get the most out of the session, and then maybe replay it if it's really useful to you. If you're doing hypnobirthing, you might find that this aligns quite nicely with it. If you're not doing any of those and you want to learn some more about the breathing techniques, then please do say, because this is something that I've lifted from a antenatal class that I would teach. And I'm also doing some free sessions every Tuesday evening virtually in the same room via Zoom at 7:30 on a Tuesday night, and it's a 30-minute session for stretch, release and relaxation. So you are very welcome to join those. You just need to sort of log on onto our website so that you can get hold of the link to be able to join. I just need to be able to see you when you're doing those exercises. Find yourself a quiet space, somewhere you can shut the door, somewhere nice and cozy. You might want to be on a hard surface. You might want to be on the floor with a mat, just to start you off, because we're going to do those stretch movements and the breathing technique. But you also might want somewhere that's quite cozy, a little bit warm, and you might want a nice big sofa to sit on, or your favourite chair, or somewhere that's quite calming for you, maybe your bed even, to do the body scan if you want to get comfortable. The body scan is traditionally taught on the back, but obviously you're not going to lay on your back. I'm going to get you to lay on your side. So you may want some cushions or pillows or something to hand, just so you're nice and comfortable on the sofa or the floor or wherever you are sitting. You'll probably want some water with you, just comfortable clothing. Make sure you feel comfortable in yourself. If you've got some favourite music you quite like, or a playlist, or you want to put something on to create a little bit of atmosphere where you are, maybe you have nice candles, or you have a favourite scent. Those can all be quite calming and relaxing for you, so you might decide that you would actually quite like to use those as well. Okay, some of the breathing techniques that I'm going to show you, I'm just going to show you one this evening, and also the breathing exercises alongside the stretch work as well. You may find that you actually want to take as part of your active labour, and that's something that we can help you with as well, in terms of staying mobile during labour, movements you might like to practice beforehand, and also optimum movements for ensuring the baby's in the right position as well. All those types of things kind of lead off of the work that I'm going to show with you in just a little while. I think we're just coming up to 8 o'clock now. I can see there's a few of you starting to join, so I don't want to start too quickly because I don't want to miss obviously the beginning of the session. But if you do want to rewind the video back once it's posted into the group, you're very welcome obviously to reuse this as many times as you like, and please do ask questions. I'm in the group, I'm one of the volunteers that tries to get the feedback and things for MVP, because obviously I'm in contact with a lot of pre and postnatal women, so actually I'm around quite a lot, and we are open and active and running for business, because it's important more than ever really. Your anxiety and stress levels may be higher than normal, and a big life change is coming up if you're pregnant, so we want to make sure you've got all the tools and things available to you to help you do have a really positive experience, and to have all the choices that you would normally have is really important for you. Okay, find yourself somewhere comfortable to sit. I'm going to pop myself a little bit further back, just so you can see the lower half of my body, just so you can see what's going on. You don't necessarily need to copy me. You don't actually necessarily need to watch me at all. You might find it's quite nice to just close your eyes and listen and tune in, and then give the movements a go another time. Okay. So what we're going to do is a little bit of a breathing technique, and this is really important to help you to prepare for labour. You're going to breathe nice and slowly during labour as much as possible, and also keep that jaw really soft to make sure that you're not clamping down through that jaw, and you're able to relax through the jaw and through the face, and keep everything as loose as possible to allow those contractions to do as we want them to do. Now, what we want to do at the moment also, obviously, is to reduce your feeling of overwhelm, to reduce the feeling of anxiety, and to take you out of autopilot, so that you really can just concentrate on the here and now and concentrate on that breathing. So I'm going to explain what I want you to do, and then I'm going to, hopefully, you're going to be sat on your sofa, nice and cosy and warm, and having a little go at this technique. So I want you to just close your eyes and just have a little moment just to kind of reset yourself. Just allow your shoulders to drop a little, and just take a pause before we start the breathing practice. Ground your bottom wherever you are sitting, so nicely on the floor. If you want your feet touching the floor, just note whether the chair is touching you, or whether the sofa is touching you, or if you're on the floor, and if you decided to have your spine nice and long, and just make sure that you are comfortable where you are and you have everything to hand. Now what we're going to do is just take a nice, big, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. And in through the nose and out through the mouth. And in through the nose and out through the mouth. So what you're going to be doing here as you carry on with that breathing technique is really slowing your breath pattern down. So if you can, breathe in through the nose for a count of 4 and draw in 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4. Pause. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, pause. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, pause. And just continue with that motion if you can. Now I do need to say, as you carry on with this, sometimes ladies can feel a little bit lightheaded when they start doing deeper breathing techniques, because we're quite used to, especially in pregnancy, taking really short, shallow breaths, okay? So what I want to be able to do with you is to ensure that when you're doing these breathing techniques, you're not feeling head fuzzy or a little bit dizzy, or it doesn't feel too like it's too much. And you really need to just listen to your body. If this is new for you and you've not done this before, your breath count may be a in for 2, out for 2. And then you would increase it in for 3, out for 3, for what feels comfortable for you. But you're really looking for a nice, long, slow, controlled deep breath in, controlled deep breath out, and keeping that jaw really soft. That's the first one of your breathing techniques. It's a really simple one to do. It's a really easy one to be able to do anytime, any place, anywhere. The other one, as we move into the stretch movement, is more based on the kind of yoga and Pilates deep breath. So what I'd like you to do now that you've drawn your breath down, and you should notice your heart rate just starting to drop and the feeling of relaxation just starting, is take your hand into a fist and poke one thumb out, and then poke your small finger and your ring finger out. Hopefully you can see that. I want to draw my hands down slightly so it's in front of my top so you can see. Now what you're going to do is block one nostril, breathe in through the open nostril, take your ring finger, place it over the nostril you've just used to breathe in, and then breathe out on the other side. And then breathe back in, place a thumb over the top of one, and then breathe out through the other side. And then breathe in, place the finger over the top of the bottom of the nostril, swap, and then breathe out on the other side. So you're taking out breaths and an in breath on one side, and then you are swapping, and you're closing off the nostril using your thumb and your ring finger, okay? Now again, just like when we did the previous movements and the breathing technique, and I said to you about the counting of the breath in and out, you can do that here, but your breath in might be a 2, okay? Or your breath in may be a up to an 8, and then a swap and an out, okay? So you're doing this in your own time according to your own breath pattern, which is why I'm not doing this for my breath pattern, because my breath pattern can be a 6 or an 8, okay? And that might not be suitable for you at the moment because you may not have done this before, so actually you might want to keep it quite low, so 2 and a 2. Okay, so you would do that technique for about 5 minutes and really lower the heart rate down a little bit more, aiming to drop your shoulders. And sometimes it can really help if you're visualising, and you can visualise the rib cage opening and closing and really increasing with that quality oxygen that you're going to take in. Okay. Now, once you've done your breathing technique, okay, and obviously if we were within a class, we would be taking much longer to do that. We'd now start working through the neck area. Move my hair out the way. And what we're aiming to do is to reduce tension through the shoulders and the neck. And lots of ladies will carry a lot of tension here. We're not really moving around as much as we would normally be doing. People are probably watching a bit too much of BBC News on 24/7 scrolling information. Turn all of that off, okay? Bring the heart rate down and just use your time that you've got here to aim to reduce the shoulders, drop them down and lose the tension through the head and the back of the neck. So I'm going to show you some really nice exercises and techniques to do this. Now do them at your own pace and your own time, okay? You do not need to copy the rate at which I'm doing them. They're completely for you, okay? So if you sit on your bottom and you make sure that your sitting bones are on the floor so your spine is nice and straight. I've got the fire on my back, which is rather nice. Head up for me. Okay, so you're going to try and create a nice distance here. So good distance between ear and shoulder and good distance between chin and chest. I just want to twist your head really nicely from side to side. Okay, one and the other. So it's a really nice light movement. Looking over your shoulder and just have a little feel, see where the tension is in your neck. See if one side feels tighter than the other. Okay, and one more. Okay, and head forward. And then we're going to tip our head from side to side, nice and gently, one side and the other. So it's a little tilt from side to side. Again, just note if there's one side tighter than the other. Does it feel uncomfortable? Does one side go a little bit further than the other? If you've already got children, maybe you're holding them and you're holding them in the same arm all the time, you create tension because you've got load on your core. Okay, so just note those as we go back and forth. Okay, and head up and roll the shoulders out. Now I want you to take one hand and you're going to take the back of the hand and hold it by the ear and then draw the head across and you're going to hold a little stretch here. Okay, so my elbows out are nice and high, the spine is long, and I'm going to get a nice stretch down the neck and across the top of that clavicle. Now if it's tight in the back of the neck and you can feel it and it feels okay, then you can keep it there. If it feels like it's too much, just bring it back, take the hand away and then go for one of the dynamic movements that we started with. Okay, and draw the head forward and then have a go on the other side. Draw across, hold, hold, hold. So what you're doing here as well, because the elbow is up, you're really opening the chest and trying to keep that spine nice and straight as well. So you can continue with your breathing technique here of nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And head goes forward. Now take your hand over the top and tilt your head very gently. So if you've got a lot of stress or tension through the neck, this is going to be quite tight. Alternatively, if you're a little bit more flexibility, you'll be able to go a little bit further. Okay, but while you're in these holds, go back to that breathing, check that you're comfortable and see how you feel. And swap sides. Okay, so it's just nice and gentle. These are really nice ones to do if you've had a really heavy day at work or you've been at your desk quite a lot. They're nice ones just to loosen through the neck. Okay, and lift up and roll those shoulders again. So you should have a little bit more movement through the neck and the top part of the spine. Now the next one I'm going to show you is a hold. I'm going to take the head forward and place the chin down on the chest. Okay, it's brilliant for stretching out the back of the neck and the top part of the shoulders and the top part of the spine. For some ladies, it can make them feel a little bit woozy, okay? Especially obviously if you're pregnant and you know your blood pressure is high or low, you may decide not to do this one, okay? If you decide not to do that one, that's fine. Take a minute, grab some water and go back to the breathing practice that we started with, okay? And for those of you that do want to, just close your eyes if you would like to, and then roll the head forward. So I'm going to keep my shoulders still, and I'm going to aim to get my chin right down to my chest. Now the idea is here you will stay here. Keep breathing in nice and deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Drop the shoulders down and you should feel a stretch on the back of the neck, possibly up between your shoulder blades and across the tops of your shoulders as well. Okay, and this will just depend on where you have tightness and it will depend on where you are holding any tension. And then draw yourself up really slowly. Nice big deep breath in, open those eyes, and then start to roll your shoulders round. Okay, so nice big circles. And because we've done those neck movements first, these should feel like you've got more movement already because you're really working through that shoulder joint. Okay, and then move yourself forward. So roll forward for me. Roll those arms forward and really work through the mobility through those shoulders. Okay, just do two more and then we're going to make them work a little bit harder. So we're going to shrug our shoulders all the way up and then drop them down and all the way up and drop them down. So you can really drop them down a little bit of force if you want to. Okay, some ladies like to let out a big sigh here and go okay, big breath in, Great way of losing the tension. All the way up, last one, and drop down. Okay, and a little wriggle through the back of the neck and through the top part of that spine. Okay, arms out for me, just little circles. We're just going to go round, using those arms nice and gently, nice floaty arms. Return back to that breathing for me and back around the other way. So some ladies, when we're doing this, will like to focus on the movement of their hands. Some ladies will close their eyes. Okay, it's all personal choice. 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Place your hands on your shoulders, elbows up if you can. Just twist round side to side. Okay, and look over your shoulder just like you did at the very beginning, and hopefully you're going to have a little bit more time, okay, and a little bit more energy, hopefully. And as you look over your shoulder, you should be able to go a little bit further than we did the first time. Okay, 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Roll those shoulders back. This is a really good stretchy one for that chest. All the way over, one side and the other. Okay, so great big stretch all the way over. Really open out the chest. We often forget to take our hands up above our head and reach out. Now, if your blood pressure's quite high or low, or these exercises are making you feel a little bit woozy, make sure you have some water. Okay, take a break if you need to. And if you don't want to take your hands over your head, you can move across side to side instead. So there's always lots of options, and there's always lots of adaptations if you don't like the one that I'm demoing at the time. Okay, side to side. Well done. Oh, I can see that I now have lots of comments on the chat coming through. I will do them at the end if that's okay. And they're hidden at the bottom of my screen, so they've not come up where I thought they were going to. So I will have a little look before we finish. And it's your choice towards the end, which I will go through at the end, whether you want to stay on or whether you would like to go to bed and put your pyjamas on. Okay, well done. Okay, and we'll roll the shoulders out again. Okay, the last one that we're going to do is a seated cat-cow. So this is a traditional exercise you would use for spinal mobility, and we would sometimes traditionally do this on all fours and get a really good movement going through the spine. But because we're seated, I'm just going to do a version of it here. Okay, I'm sat facing the camera, so it might be a little bit tricky for you to see the movement, but I'll explain it. And if it's uncomfortable or you can't see what I'm doing, then I need to change it, then I can do. But equally, if you can't see what I'm doing and you want me to put a little taster video onto the bottom of this chat, then I will do that for you as well. So we're going to combine some of the movements that we've already done, okay, and that makes this one a little bit tougher. So if you've had enough already, that's absolutely fine. Lie down on your side, ready for the relaxation. So what I'm going to do is take your hands out to the side, and then as you breathe in for me, I want you to draw the head down, take the hands in, and then a little hold followed by a big stretch out, and your head comes up. Okay, now this time when you come in, depending on how comfortable it makes you feel, drop your head down, hug your tummy, and then pretend you're drawing your tummy button in towards your spine, and then lift up. Okay, and you can do these as slow or as quickly as you like. Okay, all the way down and all the way up. So great big stretches all the way in. So if you feel like here is a really nice stretch on your back and it feels quite comfortable, stay here. If here feels like you're getting a really big stretch through your spine and you're squeezing your shoulder blades and having a good stretch through that neck, then stay here. Okay, so it's completely up to you. I'm just going to demonstrate the movements and then you get to choose how you do them. Okay, and just do one more for me, all the way down and all the way up. Okay, roll those shoulders out. Now grab some water. Okay, and I'm going to move on to the final section of this session. And I told Claire that I would completely go over time, and I don't totally have already. We're going to do a body scan, okay? And if you missed the beginning part, the body scan is traditionally taught laying on your back, but obviously I don't want you on your back, I want you on your side. So if you lay on your side, grab some cushions and pillows on the floor. I'm going to say seated, so I'm going to be explaining what you're going to be doing, and I would like and to make sure that the audio obviously is nice and clear for you to be able to follow the instructions. If you want to sit on a chair or sofa, or you want to be somewhere more comfortable, you know, even lay on your bed, if that's most comfortable for you, then please do, okay? And benefit obviously of doing this virtually is you can kind of move around the house and get yourself somewhere that you would like to be, which is nice and calm and comfortable. Now, the idea of the body scan is that you're going to lose tension and stress out of the muscles within the body. So the first thing I want you to do is, once you're set up somewhere and you're cosy and warm and you've maybe had a bit of a drink, is just have a little reset, just like we did at the very beginning before we did the breathing technique. And have a little reset about where you feel any tension, how you're feeling. If anything feels particularly tight, do you have a headache? Do you feel a bit thirsty? If you've got hip pain or back pain, or does everything feel fine, then actually you don't have any pain sites at all, then actually you've had a really good day and you've been out. Just bank that. Now, when we get to the end of this relaxation, I will wake you back up again. If you don't want to stay online and you don't want me to answer your questions, and that's fine, please feel free to come back to the video. I will, at the end of this, try and pull the comments up while I'm on and answer your questions. So if you want to stay online, that's absolutely fine, but I will not be offended in the slightest if you decide to turn off and kind of go and put your pyjamas on and go to bed, because that is the idea of doing this body scan. Okay, get yourself nice and comfortable, nice and comfy. We've noted how we are feeling. Now, it's really common when we do these types of practices that you can feel a little bit emotional when you're doing them, and that's completely normal, especially at the moment, given what's going on. So if you have anxiety or anger or frustration and it comes up to the surface and you feel a little bit teary when you're doing this, it's normal, it's absolutely normal, because we're not very good at sitting still and we're not really very good at registering how we're feeling. So please just note it, don't ignore it, just note it, and if you need to, just pause the video, go grab a drink, go for a sort of wander around the garden, it's starting to get a bit dark now, and come back to it if it makes you feel uncomfortable, that's completely fine. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is, in your nice and comfy position, just go back to your really steady and controlled breathing. So focus back on that in through the nose and out through the mouth. Remember the counting that we did at the beginning. Remember that feeling of calm. And remember we were trying to drop your shoulders. Remember we were trying to reduce your heart rate. And all of those things will be able to happen over the next 5 or 10 minutes as we do this body scan. Now, focus on the breathing first, in through the nose and out through the mouth, okay? Allow that sense of calm to wash over you. Keep it with you, bank it. Think about the natural rhythm of your breathing. Close your eyes, if it's safe to do so. And then just sink into the chair or the mat that you're on. Okay, so if you are somewhere comfortable and warm and cosy, whatever you're sat on or whatever you're led on, okay, you will allow that item that's underneath you, whether it's the floor or a rug or your bed or a sofa, that's going to take your weight. Okay, so allow the item that you're sat on to take the weight of your body. So your joints start to feel loose and they start to feel relaxed. I want you to continue with your deep breathing, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Every time you inhale, I want you to inhale something that's really positive. So whether that is something you're looking forward to sharing in the future with your baby, or something you want to do that you can't maybe do at the moment. Have a think about positive things that you can bring. And then every time you exhale, you breathe out. I would really like you to lose tension, stress, anxiety, all that's built up inside you, and I want you to blow it away. So breathe in positivity and breathe out negativity. Now keep that in your head, and we're going to start with your feet, and we're going to work our way all the way up the body. And we're going to think about each area of the body that may have stress or tension in it. And then we're going to lose the tension within that area of the system. So let's start with those toes and feet. Do they feel tight? Do you need to get rid of the tension? So continue with your breathing in and out through the nose, really gently. And squeeze your toes and your feet really hard. And then release them. And as you release them, release any tension that's built up in them. So you're squeezing really tight like you're making a fist. And then you're going to stretch them out and release. And then we're slowly going to work up the back of the legs. So into the calf muscle, squeeze and release. The kneecaps, squeeze and release. And your quads, squeeze and release. So right up into the bottom, squeeze and release. Try your pelvic floor, squeeze and release. You can have a go at your tummy muscles if you want to, squeeze and release. And slowly work your way up towards your spine, squeezing and releasing vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up. And get right up between those shoulder blades and squeeze and release. And squeeze and release. So think about those head, neck and shoulder exercises we did at the beginning. Squeezing and releasing. And then we're going to work our way all the way down the arms. So think about the forearm, the upper arm, past the elbow, all the way down to the hands, squeezing and releasing each area of the body. And then go right down to your hands, make a fist, squeezing them really tight and releasing them out. I want you to just stay still for a moment. Keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Keep your eyes shut if they are. And I want you to think about your fingers all the way down to your toes. And I would like you to squeeze everything up really, 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 really tight. And then release it all out. And then squeeze everything really, 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 really tight. And release it out. And one more. Squeeze, 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 really, really, really tight. And release. And be still. And continue with your breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And think about breathing in positivity and breathing out negativity. I want you to stay there for as long as you wish. Now if you want to stay where you are and you want to turn this off and you'd like to go and put your pyjamas on, that's absolutely fine. If it's really worked for you and it's maybe not the first time you've done one of these exercises and you feel quite sleepy and dopey afterwards and you need to bring yourself back, and I'll go through that process with you now. If obviously you're watching the replay and you're going to do this again, then what you can do is pause the video at this point and then press play when you're ready to come back. So what I'm going to get you to do is just have a little think about your body. Have a think about if anything still feels tight, or have we got rid of all the tension? Has your breathing calmed down? Has your heart rate reduced? Do you feel calm? All those positive things that you can take from the exercises that you've done, I want you to bank, and I want you to store, and I want you to keep them in your head for later, because you know you've now got a strategy to use if you get a bit stressed or a little bit anxious. what I want you to do is start to wriggle your fingers and your toes to wake them back up. And give your shoulders a little shrug, so you're going to go round and round and just have a little moment side to side. Okay? And then just sort of crook your neck side to side if it feels comfortable too. Maybe just twist through the core. And then when you're ready, come back up to a seated position or shift the position you're in, so it just awakens the body up a little bit more. Make sure the eyes are open, and then just have a really big stretch. Okay, so if you feel like you want to do a traditional stretch, something like a child's pose, that's absolutely fine. Or if you just feel like you want to stand up and kind of go, oh, that was really nice, and I really enjoyed that, and have that kind of lovely stretchy movement going, that's absolutely fine too. Okay, but what I want you to do is keep with you the feeling of just feeling calm and just reducing the anxiety and banking the feeling of how that breathing exercise helped you. Okay, I hope that was useful, ladies. I am around for questions. I'm quite happy to stay online, so if you've got any questions, or you've got any questions about what I do or what I teach or how I can help you, or about the breathing techniques or antenatal classes or anything that's on at the moment and you want any assistance, please just do ask, because as I said from the very beginning, we are all here, we're all around, and we are all very willing to help you out and do sessions like these to make sure that you have a really positive birth experience. You. I can see some questions popping up, so what I'm going to do is just come a bit closer to the camera and then I can read your comments. Okay. Leanne, I'm struggling with my hips. I would love some tips on how to ease this. Okay, this is a really common question. Let me come and sit down on the floor. It's a really common question that I get asked quite a lot about ladies' hips. You're fairly full term there, 37 plus 5, so you're probably feeling quite heavy. I would imagine you've probably got a little bit of back pain as well, and you've probably got a little bit of pressure underneath now as well, possibly from your pelvic floor as well. Excuse me 1 second, I'm just going to remove these notifications coming up so I can concentrate on this one. Generally, what I would say to you, and obviously without seeing you, it's difficult to answer that question, but I would encourage you to keep walking and keep moving around as much as possible. Walking barefoot is actually really good for spreading the muscles out in the feet and to be able to help you to move around and just get a good sense of balance as well. Lifting and carrying heavy items is probably not a great idea right now, but what you might find that that you want to do is just have a little look at some hip strengthening exercises, which I'm very very open to helping you to do that. But some of the hip exercises that I would prescribe for different clients will be different depending on where the pain is and where you have any associated pain. So sometimes you can have pain in the hips, but actually that goes down the legs and it affects the knees and the ankle joint, and it might affect your mobility. Whereas for other ladies, it might just be on one side of the hip, or you might have backache, or bump might be particularly big or heavy, or you might be having twins. So there's lots of things that I would need to ask you in terms of helping you out with that one, but it's definitely something that I can help you out with. Okay, let me have a little look. How else have we got here? Karis, that was wonderful. Thank you. Feeling much more relaxed. Oh, that's really lovely. Thank you. That's okay. That's why we do this. That's why we like doing it. That was amazing. Feel really relaxed. That's really helped my anxiety. Yeah, anxiety is quite high, isn't it, at the moment? And we, there is a lot that we can do to help you out with that. And the wonderful videos on here are a great way of kind of for you to understand what's happening and what's going on and how the regulations and things are changing. Just to make sure that, I've got another one coming through here, just to make sure that you have all the information that you know that you have. Oh, Leanne, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. To make sure you have all the information that you want, basically, and just ask us lots of questions, because I say we're all around and we are very open to helping you out wherever we can. As I say, I'm doing this as a free session every Tuesday evening. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to post my website on here. I'm going to do it and they can cut it out because I know you're going to ask me. My business is called Fit and Healthy Mums. My website's fitandhealthymumsuk.com, and you can find me on Facebook, and we're on Instagram, and obviously the website as well. So if you want to book onto the free classes on a Tuesday evening at 7:30, then you need to book on via the website, because I'm doing them via Zoom, so I can see you and I can interact with you, and I can check you're all okay. And you need to book on. There's no charge for that one, but you are very welcome to join. I just need you to book on so I can send you the link through Zoom to be able to help you out. Karis, do you have any exercises that you would recommend for sciatica? Oh yeah, that's a very common complaint as well, isn't it? Sciatica. Pain goes down from the lower back into my buttocks and down my leg. I've been suffering for this every day. I'm 16 weeks. Oh, bless you. Okay. So sciatica is basically trapped nerves, and it's going down into the leg. So there may be some work that we need to do in the back, possibly in the hips, probably pelvic floor work as well. It's within that pelvic region, might need just stabilising, and there are some specific exercises that you can do, but again, I kind of need to see you first. I do work with a couple of local physios, and one of which is still working. She's doing her sessions online, as I am. I'm doing my sessions online as well, to make sure you've got the help that you need. So if you want any assistance with that, whether that's me or whether that's Caroline, who I work with, then please let us know. There are specific exercises that I can give you, but I just need to see you doing them to make sure that they're safe. And unfortunately, for you, there is no one-size-fits-all approach, because size of bump fitness beforehand, where you're feeling the pain, how often you're getting it, if it's starting from any particular activity, all those types of things will come into play. So if I see a client, and I start off with a client and she's new, and whether that's from somebody who is trying to fall pregnant up into a postnatal, and for me, postnatal is basically forever after you've had a baby, because some ladies don't come to postnatal until their child is 5, 10 or 25. I would thoroughly screen everybody first. So there is a screening form to make sure that I've picked up on all things. So for example, if you've got if you have an existing injury, or you're on any medication or anything like that, it's really important that I'm aware of that, because if your medication has side effects, then obviously that's going to impact the exercises that I give you. So the classes are much more set up for pre and postnatal ladies, and the Pilates and the buggy fits and style of classes that I teach are more generic, and then the personal training and the rehab style work that I do in terms of pelvic floor and diastasis recti and back pain and SPD and all the things that you're talking about here, those are more things I would teach in a small group or one-to-one, because it's really important I have all the information to help you out and give you the right things. There's no point giving you the exercises and actually they're not the right ones for you because I haven't got all the information. So that the information screening is really important. Okay, thank you. I'll try and join your Tuesday class. Oh yeah, please do. You're really welcome. Yeah, absolutely. I've capped it at 20. It has been full the last couple of weeks. So if you want to book on, please do and have a little go at that. Yeah, it's a tough time for everyone, isn't it, really, at the moment? And also it's a tough time in general, if that makes sense, for prenatal ladies, because it's a big lifestyle shift. And I always say to a lot of my clients that it's not just about having a baby, it's lifestyle changes. So you might be thinking about whether you're going to go back to work or not, or if you're moving house. I can guarantee lots of ladies who I see are on maternity leave, they either put an extension on the house, they've decided to move, their husband's had a new job, they've bought a new car. There's all this other stuff going on as well as actually being pregnant. And obviously at the moment you have this additional layer of COVID-19 and the change in regulations and what's happening around that as well. So we are very mindful of all of that, which makes your head very busy. So that's why these relaxation and the breathing and the anxiety management is really, really important for you. Are there any other questions before I log off? So I can see there's about 40 of you, I think, on this one at the moment. I'll wait a second in case anyone's typing, because my screen's not letting me know whether anyone's typing or not. But I am very happy to wait for any questions to come through. I don't want to log off too quickly in case you are typing an essay out for me. Okay. Okay, nothing else coming through. Okay, perfect. Well, I will leave you to go and get your jammies on and go and curl up somewhere nice and warm after that relaxation. Feel free to replay that video as many times as you need, and you are very welcome to come and join the Tuesday class if you wish, or the antenatal group on Wednesday evenings. I will see you for now, girls. Lovely to meet you all. Take care. Bye-bye.